Look, there's only like 3 things I deeply care about in life, which is my mom, your health, and your mom. And today we're gonna take care of one of these because it is the season. I have something very special for you. We're gonna go through my 2 favorite mobility routines, and I can promise you that if you are capable of going through the whole thing without taking a break and with full range of motion, you are much more advanced than pretty much 95% of people who do mobility work in general. Keep that in mind as we go through those exercises, because you might be surprised at how capable you actually are. If you're ready, let's go have some fun. Now we're gonna start our first routine with a deep squat as our foundation, which means that we wanna have both feet flat on the floor. If you struggle with that, elevating your heels is gonna make this thing so much easier, and as you progress, you should be able to squat ass to grass very comfortably. Upper body as upright as possible, keep your hands behind your head. We're gonna start out with internal hip rotations, knee all the way down to the floor, rolling over our toes, reversing and repeating on the other side. We're only gonna do a handful of repetitions for each one of those exercises. If you have a different range of motion, and if you need to work slower, don't worry about it. Over time, you should be improving, and you should be able to keep up with both the same speed as well as the same range of motion. Only one more internal rotation for each hip joint. There you go. And then we're gonna move on to externally rotating our hip and bringing our knee down, carefully extending our hip, flexing our posterior chain. Keep a lot of tension in your glutes and your biceps, lengthen your hip flexors and your quads. Reverse and repeat on the other side. Always rolling over our toes, lengthening our foot musculature, lengthening our anterior chain, flexing our posterior chain. Once again, only a handful of repetitions. And always keep in mind that we are actively flexing the antagonists of the muscles that we are stretching, which means if you're stretching our hip flexors, we are flexing our hip extensors. One more time. And a final time for each side. All the way down, all the way up and down. And then we're gonna combine internal rotations, meaning we always have one long range of motion, one short range of motion, crossing over. Try to not cross your balls if you have them. If you don't have them, be my guest, close up as much as you can. Keep a lot of tension in your core and stay as upright as you can. One more repetition each side. Internal double rotations, one long range of motion, one short range of motion. Now we're gonna move into external rotation with both hips pushing outwards by flexing our glutes on the outside, knees down, and then we're gonna flex our entire posterior chain, lengthen our entire anterior chain, and with each repetition, we're gonna lengthen a little bit more. Reversing, we wanna use our hip flexor strength and our core for balance to move back into a deep squat. Keep your arms extended, bring your knees down, push forward, lean back a tiny bit more than you did with the last repetition. Reverse. Repeat, leaning back a tiny bit more than with the last repetition. Now moving the anterior chain stretch up to our upper abdominals as well. Reverse. And with the next and final repetition, we're gonna lean back even more and open up our chest and shoulders for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reversing, pulling in, hands on the floor. Now just for a handful of seconds, we're gonna extend our legs, elevate our hips, and take 1 or 2 deep breaths. Because with the next exercise, this is gonna become a little bit more advanced. Going back into our starting position, we are now going to combine internal rotation on one side, rolling over our toes, complete ankle extension, external rotation on the other side, upper body fully upright, and then reversing, rolling over our toes, requiring a lot of strength in our tibialis to get back into complete ankle flexion. So rolling over, combining internal with external, but all the way down on the floor before we switch directions. It's going to require a lot of control, a lot of strength, and a lot of flexibility, which is going to increase with every single exercise that is going to come after this one. So now we've done 3 for each side, reverse. So once again, we're gonna move into this internal and external rotation, and this time we're gonna elevate our hips, flexing our posterior chain, lengthening our anterior chain once more, before we sit down all the way, and only then do we reverse and move into the other direction, extending our hip, flexing our posterior, while lengthening our anterior chain, reversing, repeating on the other side. And now we have a lot of rotational forces on our knees. And even though our knees are not rotational joints, they still give us about 10 to 15 degrees of rotation within the joint, which means that working on this rotational pressure can help us bulletproof our knees even more. One final time to the other direction before we move on in difficulty to the next exercise. All the way down, back into our starting position. Now we're gonna add some spinal rotation, back into our 90-90. Now we're gonna cross over, right arm, left leg on the outside, and push your upper body into a rotation for your lumbar and thoracic spine while staying upright for now, before we reverse. Repeat on the other side, rotation, and reverse, helping us stretch our spinal erectors and our obliques, as well as our abdominals in general, specifically our transverse abdominis, which helps a lot with releasing tension in our upper body. So only one more repetition for each side. Internal, external, rotation, boom. You might have noticed we are adding some speed, a little bit more explosive movement for more strength dominance within those exercises. And now we're gonna add even more upper body rotation. So one's gonna feel absolutely amazing, internal and external. And instead of staying upright here, we're gonna turn even further. And now we wanna bring our face down all the way to the floor. Holding for a second before we go back into an upright position. Reverse, reverse, repeat into the other direction. Once again, if you need to slow this down, heck, if you need to pause the video, don't worry about it. Do that. Enjoy the position if you want to do a static stretch at the lowest point in the movement, and then you can continue. If you need a break anywhere, take a short break. And I will, as always, timestamp every single exercise separately so you can jump through them as easily as possible. One more time. All the way. Holding. A final time. All the way. Holding, and reversing back into our deep squat. We're gonna cross over like so, and switch right side, and switch left side. Short movements, doesn't have to be full rotation. We just want to open up our shoulders and chest the tiniest bit, like so. Final time on the other side. Hands on the floor. Extend, elevate your hips, hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then as a finisher, we're gonna go down into a full deep squat, shoulders on the inside, arms on the outside, fingertips on the floor, chin all the way down to our chest, lengthening our neck as well, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. As for our second starting position, will be a wider stance, feet parallel, because our base movement will be the Cossack squat, which is this exercise. Hands onto your legs, because we're gonna start with very tiny ranges of motion. For now, that is very important. Keep your feet parallel, meaning both of them directed forward, so we can actively start stretching our adductors, because once we change that, our stretch will change as well. A handful of times, short movements, and now with the next repetition, we want to work by bringing our hip joint all the way down to knee height, while our upper body stays extended and our feet stay parallel, adding a lot more adductor stretch before we switch directions. And the second thing, very important, we always want to move all the way up before we switch to the other side, because we want to have as much quad and leg strength inclusion as possible. Because, as you might know, if you've been here before, mobility is a combination of both flexibility as well as strength and coordination, and is not just stretching and being able to lengthen a joint, but being able to take a joint through a long range of motion with control and with strength. Next repetition, we're gonna move lower by now elevating our heel, and now we're gonna move into external hip rotation in the extended leg. And now you will notice our stretch shifted from our adductors to our hamstrings and our calves, meaning feet parallel, inside stretch, external rotation, backside stretch, all the way up, as much quad inclusion as possible, all the way down, raise your heel. We do this because we want to add as much balancing, both from our core as well as our foot and leg musculature as possible, which means that the smaller the surface area we are in contact with the floor, the more balance we're going to require. One more time to this side. With the next repetition, we're going to add right hand to the right foot, pull your toes in, all the way up, left hand, left foot, pull your toes in. I'm only gonna do this one more time before we have one more switch. Pull in, all the way up, all the way down, pull in, and with the next repetition, we're gonna move into complete external rotation in the extended leg. That means hand to your foot, grab hold on the floor, and now push your leg into as much of an external rotation as you can. Hold, reverse, all the way down, switching directions. Left hand, left foot, push outwards, hold, all the way up, all the way down, and external rotation. Only one more repetition on the other side, all the way up, all the way down, rotate. Now with the next repetition, we're going to add spinal rotation, increasing the stretch even more by crossing over. Left hand, right foot, all the way up, all the way down, right hand, left foot. And this I'm gonna do 2 more times. Once to the left, once to the right, because with the next repetition, we're gonna switch from our posterior chain to our anterior chain once more, down into our Cossack squat. And now, knee down forward, push your hips forward, flex your posterior chain once more, and lengthen your anterior chain. And I want you to really flex as hard as you can before we roll back, all the way up, all the way down, and flex as hard as we can, and lengthening the tiniest bit in our anterior chain. If you need support, move with your hands, especially if you have any pain in your joints. That is a sign that you need to dial it back, either with the range of motion or with how much support you are using. Forward. A final time on the other side. Up. Now with the next repetition, we're gonna once again increase our posterior chain stretch. Once again, back into our Cossack, and now we're gonna cross over and pull our upper body towards our extended leg. All the way up, switch directions, all the way up, switch directions. I know this can be getting really exhausting at this point, but trust me, this is an amazing combination of strength and flexibility. And you can do this pretty much every single day if you wanna advance quickly. Final time to the left. Final time to the right, because with the next repetition, we're once again gonna change it up the tiniest bit by moving down all the way. Once again, bringing our knee down, and this time, instead of extending our hip forward, we're gonna move it backwards, sitting down all the way, maximizing our knee, hip, and ankle mobility, and lengthening our foot musculature as much as possible. With this one, I would highly suggest, if this is the first time you're doing this, help yourself out with your arms before you sit down all the way on the other side. First your knee down, and then your butt down, and once you advance enough, you should be able to reverse all by yourself. Be careful, sit down all the way, help yourself out, all the way up, all the way down, and once again, we're picking up the tiniest bit of speed here, just so you can have more endurance and more strength benefits as well. Final time on the other side, hop. Final time on the left side, hop. And with the next repetition, oh, it's gonna get so much more advanced because we only have 2 more exercises, then we're done with this one. We're gonna sit down, Cossack squat, we're gonna cross over, left hand behind the left extended leg, knee height, 1 foot apart, right arm up, and now we're gonna flex our entire posterior chain, lengthen our entire anterior chain, pull our fingertips towards the floor, lengthening our obliques, rotation in our spine, hip flexors and quads as long as possible, all the way up, all the way down, crossing over, flexing our posterior, lengthening our anterior. One more time for each side before we move on to the second variation. It's gonna be even more advanced and even more amazing. All the way down on the other side. Lengthen. Now for our final exercise, all the way down. And instead of placing our hand flat on the floor, we are placing our arm flat on the floor, because from here we're going to require even more strength in our posterior chain and have even more stretch in our anterior chain. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Move forward, move all the way up, all the way down, cross over, lower arm on the floor, lengthen, hold for 3, 2, 1, and we only have one more repetition for each side. All the way down, on the left, hold for 3, 2, 1, up and down on the other side for 3, 2, 1, all the way up to the middle, feet parallel, legs extended, hands on the floor. Take a deep breath in. And when breathing out, try and extend your back and move into spinal extension, building a lot of pressure in your posterior chain, holding. Relax. Take a deep breath in. And this time when breathing out, move into this extension, hold for 3, 2, 1, relax, and one final time, breathing in, moving into extension, holding for 3, 2, 1, and release all the way. There you go. If you've gone through the whole thing, mad respect to you, because if this wasn't my job, I can guarantee you that I wouldn't be able to do half of this shit. So the fact that you can already makes you a lot better than I am. You can slow it down, you can speed it up, you can do the whole thing in one, you can break it down and take breaks between every single exercise, and you're gonna be combining strength with endurance, with flexibility, with a metric shit ton of coordination, and all of those combined will make you a mobility genius. With that said, I hope you have a wonderful Christmas. Like the video if you like the video, and if you're new here, come on, subscribe. It is the season of giving, and you giving me a subscriber will be far more than I could ever wish for. And I will see you very, very soon. So until then, Captain Cairo, peace out.